are starting VPC. So, what do you understand by VPC?
It's kind of VPN.
No, VPN is something different, and VPC is different.
We create our own network in which we can, like, it's a kind of, if we are creating an office and we want that not the outside public can access our system, so we will create our own private networks. uh, and we use the network router which convert the public IP into private IP and network gateway basically.
Yes.
So is it not kind of VPN or something like?
No, no. VPN itself is a different
Okay.
thing, so we will discuss that. But VPN we install in our system to access the
Okay.
application. It's a kind of the software, I would say. But
Oh, okay, okay.
VPC is the complete network. Okay. So what you said is perfectly correct. It's like, see, we have uh, we are designing or we are opening a company where we need our own private network. Okay, so that private network which we need, we design in our own company, and where all the network component like switches, router, internet gateway, and bridges, all those things which is required for creating a network is present in our company only. So that network is for our company, that is the private network. But here in AWS we are also creating a same type of network. There also the routers, switches, everything will be available, but that in the form of virtual. So that's why it is called as a VPC, that's the virtual private cloud, which is private for you, but as this is present virtually, that's why it is called virtual private cloud. One point. And the second point here is it is isolated from any other people. Like for example, if I am creating a network for my company, it will be only dedicated for my company only. If there is another company, if we are creating a network for them, then that limitation for that network will be for other company only. Same way, if we are creating any network in Amazon, the scope for that network will be only for you. You can design your own personal network. We have, but the question may come that we have already have one default network, then why can't we use that? See, default network is also secure network. It's not like that if you have created your resources inside the default network, so any other person can go and access that. No, Amazon always make that security that no one can access your resources. But as a best practice, it's always recommended to create your own network, design your own network. Because in default network, see, the problem, one problem also is there, that all the resources are public, right? And if you want to create some of the resources which is not public, you want to make them in the private or the private subnet, so those resources you can't create in default network. So for that you need to create your own private network, or otherwise you can go and create a private subnet part into the default, which is not again the best practice. So it's always as a best practice and as a isolation of your network, where you can create your own resources. To create is always recommended to create a private network. Now see, what is the use case, what does exactly VPC is. We have a VPC which is isolated from everyone, and it's kind of your own data center in the cloud, where you can create your own resources. So what does it mean by the own resources? Like for example, you want to create a database, you want to create a storage, you want to create a virtual machine. All those things which you want to create, you are creating on inside your network only. See, till now we have completed so many services, right? We have created S3, we have created EC2. Under EC2 also we are working on a lot of things. But now we want everything should be go inside our network. So always whenever we design any infrastructure or when we create any infrastructure, it's the first step is we should go and design the network. The first step should be network designing. Once the network part is done, then we go and create other components or other resources. So, so the high level definition, let's just see what it is saying. So, Amazon Virtual Private Cloud enable you to launch AWS resources into a virtual network that you define. What does it mean by you define? The full control is in your hand. Okay, this virtual network closely reassembles a traditional network that you would operate in your own data center. So it is same like our physical data center, but the only difference is it's a virtual. That's it. You can't go and touch your routers and switches and cables, but you can go and access that. Okay, with the benefit of using the scalable infrastructure. What does it mean? Like for example, I have designed this network which is only for my company. Now what happened, my company is expanding and I want more IP address and more network. Then it's very difficult to auto scale the network which is in my data center, because sometimes it's very difficult. We need to buy a lot of infrastructure and we need to again purchase a new IP address, all those things. But in AWS is it's very easy. We just go and with the sum of the click you are able to increase your network. So this is like scalable also. Now, so this is diagram which I want to show you. See, we have a region in AWS account. We have one region. Under region we create a VPC. So VPC is region specific, and in one region you can create a 5 VPC. Okay, every region can have a 5 VPC. Just like EC2 we are having a 20 EC2 limitation, same way we have a 5 VPC creation limitations, and we can create a 200 per VPC subnet. So that means you can create around 1000 subnets. But obviously all these limits are the soft limits. You can go and request to Amazon, they can increase for you. As a best practice, if you are creating any subnet, it's always recommended to select one subnet with one availability zone. Okay, so there are some of the features or the components which we are going to discuss now. But till now understood what exactly VPC means?
Yes.
Yes.
So let's just understand the architecture. Let's see some of the architecture of AWS. AWS architecture. So see, this is the high level architecture of your VPC. This is the image. Okay, no, I don't want that. Okay. Okay, so this is the VPC architecture. Now let me show you and let's just understand what all are the components of this architecture is. See, is this visible
Can you just do a little bit bigger?
now?
Yeah.
Okay, See what we have outside people, right? Outside, there are globe, there are a lot of people. So if they wanted to get inside my network, how they can go? We have attached the internet gateway to get inside the network. So how first we design our infrastructure? We have a AWS account. Under AWS account, we design a VPC. Under VPC, we design two subnets. One subnet is the public subnet, other subnet is the private subnet. Under these two subnet, we have a web server in the public subnet and the private database servers under the private subnet. We also have a route table which will help us to define the route of the traffic from where to where what traffic should flow. We have an internet gateway which is helping us to provide internet access to our resources. These are the route tables. I will tell you what exactly route table is. We also have a virtual private gateway. We have a VPN connections. We have a customer gateway. All those things are the part of our network only. So this is the high level architecture of VPC. It's like if someone shown you this diagram, you can directly tell them that this is the VPC architecture or the AWS architecture. So let's have one more example. We have a application which is two-tier application. What is the meaning of two-tier application? Two-tier application means which is having web servers and database server. So as a best practice, what should we do? How to design that? So as per designing, as per this diagram which I have explained you, we need to create two subnets. Like first we need to create one VPC. Under that VPC we need to create a two subnets, and then two subnets will, under that two subnets, one will be the public and the other one is the private. So under public, definitely my web server should be accessible to everyone. So I will create web servers inside the public network, public subnet. And my database server, I don't want that database should be accessible outside, so I will keep them in the private subnet. So this is how to tier architecture design. So now what is public subnet and the private subnet? Because in default VPC, I have not shown you any types of public, private and anything. We have not seen. Everything is public here. So public and private means public where the resources which is present inside the public subnet are accessible from outside of the world. Okay, this. And the private subnet resources is not accessible from outside. Public subnet which is having an internet access, and the private subnet which is not having an internet access. So if you go and log in into this web server, and if you go and ping the google.com, you will get a response. But if you create any machine here, and if you log in into that, and if you ping google.com, you will not get any response, because this particular resources are not having internet access. Understood? Any doubt till now?
No, so basically we use the private subnets for database, right?
Yes, mainly
Okay.
for those resources
Okay.
which we don't want to explore. It's like we don't want to share with outside.
And the internet, like internet gateway, I can see the internet gateway,
Hmm.
and that request is basically goes to router, and router will convert the
Yes,
public network into private, right?
yes. See, we
And we define, so do we have to also configure the router here, or
yes,
AWS will do?
router means like a route table only. We are configuring that only at the end, right? Router is like a hidden thing, which we can't see. We are not configuring that, but we are giving the routes from where to where how the traffic should flow. Like for example, if you see here, we have an internet
Okay.
access. Like what component is providing internet access? Internet gateway. So if you go and see, this particular root table is having an internet gateway root. It means, and this root, this table is attached with the public subnet. It means they have an internet access. But if you go and see here, they are not having an internet gateway IP. So they are not having
Okay.
any of the internet access. We will create all those things, then you will understand. But still,
Okay.
any other doubt?
No.
Ashwati?
No. Hello?
Yeah, okay. So this is VPC dashboard. Okay. Under this VPC dashboard, we have these many options here. Okay. So just click on create VPC. See, there are two options available. One is VPC only and the second one is VPC and more. What is the meaning of VPC and more and difference, and what is VPC only? See, first let's just understand the components. To design one network, private network, we need to use the four components minimum. One is VPC, then the other one is subnet, and the third one is internet gateway, and the last one is root table. So to create any network, you need to mandatorily create these four components. So this option VPC and more, if you directly go and select that, it will help us to create all the components. See, automatically. If you go and create like this, if you type, where is that? See, these are the options. You can go ahead and change that. See, like that. If you go and change the name project 1 dash Kanchan, and automatically it will select the value for subnets. If you don't want to give this particular CIDR range, then I want to give 192 5 15 8, then and slash 16. So it will take that for the subnets also automatically. See, under subnet, for subnets, yes, here availability zones, number of public IP, private IP. See, it is like you are just only giving the minimum information, and with the minimum information it is automatically creating the required thing, what is required for you. Like one internet gateway it is creating, one VPCE is it is creating, that's some other component. But I don't want that. I will just go and click the VPC only because I want to show you everything from scratch. So how to create that now? And one more thing, yes, one more thing. While networking, I have shown you some of the private IP addresses range, right? Did you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. So those private IP address range like 171 range, 192 range and 10.000 dot range, they are fixed for private network, right? So it's always, see, always recommended to use that range only. You can use the other public IP address range also, but as they are fixed for public IP address, so it's not come under best practice. So you should always use these ranges which is fixed for private IP addresses. So now VPC only, I am creating a VPC, that is my VPC demo, and here I can select IPv4 and IPv6 options also. So I'm selecting IPv4 only, 0.0./16 I'm selecting, and tenancy is default. I don't want the dedicated network, I can be in the default tenancy. It's like it could be the hardware could be in the shared resources, but I want the private network for me. just create the VPC. So your
It just for, sorry to interrupt. It just for one availability zone, right?
and right now I have not selected any availability zone. I have only given
So,
a VPC with this range. It's like
okay, so
this.
it will take automatically
No, no, no,
availability
no.
zone or no?
Just wait 1 second. When we will create
Okay.
subnet, it will come. Okay.
Oh,
Right now,
okay.
I have only done this big box. I have purchased a very big network, that is a VPC, which range is this one, which will have around 65,000 some IP addresses. So I have total 65,000 plus IP address range with this box.
Okay.
I have still not split that into the small chunks like that. So that part is the second part, that is the subnet, this one, which will help us to split into the small part, and there we will select the availability zones. So as VPC is the region specific, so it will not ask any of the availability zone to us. One VPC can present in one region, and one region can have 5 VPCs. Okay, so what I was explaining here is, while creating a VPC, 3 components are automatically created. One is DHCP, other one is main route table, third one is main network ACL. Now, DHCP, what is the meaning of DHCP? Is domain host controller protocol, and main route table is like, see, the route table which I have explained you till now. While creating a VPC, by default they create one route table. You can go ahead and create your own route tables also, but by default they create one route table. And the main network ACL, that network ACL part we will see little later, but as of now just understand, while creating a VPC, 3 components automatically it create. One is DSCP, other one is route table, and third one is main, this one NACL. Okay, now what is DHCP? DHCP means, see, we have 65,000 plus IP addresses, right? And we are creating, suppose, thousand of the resources inside our network. Obviously we will create more resources, so every resource will have one IP address. Like for example, inside this I have created one machine, and one machine, so every machine will have one IP address. So how this network will come to know which machine should have which IP address, right? So how this IP address range will start distributing? See, they will have 10.0.0.1, then next IP will be 10.0.0.2, then 10.0.0.3, like that. So how this IP address distribution will be done? So the DHCP is help us to distribute the IP addresses between these resources. The main job of DHCP is, like, we have for example these many IP addresses, so this IP should be allocated to this IP should be allocated to this machine, this IP should allocated to this machine, like that. Okay, now next part is, we have created a VPC. Now just go to the subnet. Under subnet, okay, still there, 1 second, yes, sorry, already having one VPC, so delete VPC. Okay, so see, we have only 2 VPC now, one which I have created, other one is the default one. Okay, it will have the information that tenancy is default, but the default VPC is yes. Okay, now subnet. Under the subnet, you see, as this is my North Virginia region, under North Virginia region we have a 6 availability zones, right? So as we have a 6 availability zone, so they have a 6 default subnet, and each subnet is present in each availability zone. So let's just quickly go and create subnet. Now create subnet, you need to go and click on your own VPC. Under that you need to give the name of your subnet. So I am giving the name of my subnet is public subnet. and I want to give the preference of availability zone also. So I will select 1A, and under that I want to give the IP address range. For example, let's 24. So we have very big network which is having these many IP address. I split that network into small chunk, that is 10.0.0.0.0 so as we have 65,000 IP address, I have given 256 IP addresses. What is the calculation for this is we will have a 256 IP address for this network. So we have given 26 IP address out of 65 to this subnet. Now which is the public subnet, keeping all those other things are default. So create subnet. So as you can see, we have created one public subnet. Under that, if you go and see, there is 1251 available IP address only. Now as per my calculation, there has to be a 256 IP addresses, right? As we calculate the as per the calculation, how to calculate that? We need to minus 32 minus 24. How much is there? 8, right? Then 2 to the power 8 is equal to 256. So these many IP addresses should be there inside this network, but there are 5 IP addresses are less. Now where these 5 IP addresses are gone? So we need to see that.
One would be broadcast, one would be
Correct.
blue.
Yes, 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 correct.
Two, I guess. And you're
First one
left,
is
right?
the network IP, last one is the broadcast
Yeah,
network ID.
broadcast.
Yes, and there are three, which is for, I forgot that exactly. That's what I am searching. One is for DNS, other one is for future reference, and the third one more is for some specific reason. AWS 5 default IP address reserved reason. This one DNS and network, and this will have, I guess, architecture. But let's see first official documentation. Okay, right now I'm not able to find that. Okay, then I'll search tomorrow for that. Maybe FAQs will have the reason. Okay, then 2 3 I know, so I'll tell you that. See, in every network, first IP address is the network IP address. Okay, this one. Sorry. The second IP address is for something, I'll tell you that. And the third, like this, these IP addresses are fixed. And the last one, sorry, network IP address is this one, 10.0.0.0/0. No, right? Okay, just 1 second, let me find it out right now only. जब कुछ जल्दी चाहिए होता है ना तो मिलेगा नहीं. अरे
So when I was doing the auto scaling part, I know I somewhere I noticed there was also mentioned that 5 IP address was reserved, but I also forget why.
yes, that's what 5 IP. एक वन द प्रॉब्लम इज कि जो मैं गूगल कर रही हूँ तब भी नहीं आ रहा है. 5 reserved IP in AWS. Okay, let's see. अगेन एंड अगेन यही दे रहा है वो, इसी में ही है क्या कहीं? ओके, क्रिएट सबनेट. थोड़ा अपने सिस्टम पे गूगल करो, तब तक शायद तुमको मिल जाए.
I'm doing.
Yes, these are the 5. Okay. अरे okay, so these are the 5 IP address which are reserved. Like first IP address, that is 10.0.0.0 is the network address. One is for VPC router, other one is for the DNS, third one is the future use, and the last one is the network broadcast. So understood these 5 IP addresses. Let's just save this in
Yes.
our list or link also, so it will help us. So 5 IP addresses. Okay, let's just type here like this. Okay. Okay, so it's there inside only. Okay, see that. This one. Okay, so yes, now this is the reason we are getting less like not 256, we are getting 251 IP addresses here. Now quickly design one more subnet, that is private subnet. So I'll give this name as a private subnet. Right now I am just only giving the IP address as subnet name as private subnet, but it will not be private right now. It will be, we need to make them private. While giving the name as a private, it will never create that subnet as a private. You should create that as a private subnet. So we have to subnets which we have created, that is private subnet and public subnet, and they both are having 251 IP address. Okay, by mistake I have created both of them in 1A, which is wrong. So let me go and delete the private subnet. It will allow, no problem with that, but we should not do that. We should always go for the best practice. Delete. Now again create subnet and subnet name is private subnet. Availability zone preference I am giving 1B. Okay, that's great. So now let's go and create internet gateway. As one more thing, one VPC can have only one internet gateway. So just like we can create a 5 VPC, so we can only create a 5 internet gateway. Okay, so just go and create demo IGW. Okay, so create that. We have created one internet gateway, and if you go, it is not yet attached with any of the VPC. So you just go and click on the action attached to the VPC. Once you attach that with one VPC, that's it. That's only will be dedicated to my VPC. That IGW is dedicated for my VPC now. So we have created internet gateway, we have created subnet, that's it. Everything is created, but still they all are not connected. Like for example, right now what is happening here is, if you go and see, we have one VPC. Under that VPC we have 2 subnets, okay, and we have created one internet gateway. By default they have created one root table, okay. One root table is created by default because they are having a functionality to create a root table. So if you go inside the root table, which is being created by default, so click on this root table. Under this root table, if you go and see the subnet association, right now they have 2 types of explicit and implicit association, right? For example, how to show you, see here, if you go and see, it is not showing here. Okay, right now none of the subnet is associated with this, but by default there has to be both of them has to be associated, right? See here under subnet association, it is showing subnet without explicit association, subnet with explicit association. It's like when you have created a 2 subnet, as they both are the part of your VPC, and that VPC is having one root table, that is a default root table, main root table, automatically that subnet is associated with that root table. So now, but my agenda is not to give internet access to this private subnet. I want only public subnet should have the internet access. So now how to do that? Right now they both are having same root, and they both are not having any internet access right now. So just leave this root table, as this is the default, you can't delete that, but just quickly go and create 2 root tables. One is private root table, and that's in the same VPC, and create one more public root table. One subnet can be the part of one root table only. Like for example, I have these 2 root table, right? And if you go and click on this public root table, and under this subnet association, if you see right now you don't have any subnet associated with this. So just edit subnet, and see under this subnet select the public one, because we are in the public root table. So select the public root table only. So what you have done, you have selected public root table, public subnet. See this one. Now private root table, go inside that and click on subnet association. So see, now you have left only one option. You can only associate this private subnet into that. edit subnet, you will get the option here. Here, see, this is the option it is showing that public subnet is associated with this public RT. If you go and associate with the private subnet, it will remove from here. But right now, private subnet is present inside the main root table, but I don't want, I want that to move inside the private subnet, private root table. So click here. So now, is that associated? No, sorry. Here, save association. You have not made any changes, correct? Okay, yes, it's done. So we have associated private subnet with the private it is not showing any of the subnet inside this edit association. It is here inside that. Okay, let me go and click here. Let's just go inside the main root table, and under this main root table, under subnet association, yes, we don't have anything. Okay, it is not showing here, but it is associated. Now my main agenda here is we have given the roots, but still we are not able to access internet. Why? Because still we have not given the internet path. So how to give that internet path? Just click on public root table, and under that, here click on roots. What you are doing, you are defining the root. What root you are defining? You are giving this public root table the internet access, so that the resources present inside the public subnet will have the internet access. So simple, just type here all access to which, to internet gateway. Click here, and the internet gateway which you have selected here, save it. So till now we have created the complete network, and see, in the private subnet, private root table, I have not given internet path. So see, right now automatically it came here. See, under this there is no internet access, so the resources present inside this will not be able to access the internet. Understood till here? This might be little confusing, but try to create one network by yourself, you will understand that. But what is the doubt? Any doubt?
Can you just show me internet gateway?
Yes, okay. This one. Okay.
Okay. And internet gateway, we just created simple, right? We just give the name.
Yes, we
So,
just only gave the name.
and will attach to the root table. That's it.
Yes, simple. If
Uh,
only attached it with the root table on,
one
yes, root table
private
one,
one.
public one, where I want
Oh,
to
sorry,
give,
public one.
yes, yes. So this one, see, this is
Okay.
having a root, and this is also having a subnet, that is the public subnet. So the resources which is
So
with me,
basically, our both, like whatever machine is in the public RT will give the private subnet, private IP address, but with the help of root table, it will convert
no,
communicate with the public one.
no, completely wrong.
But we have
Yes,
given the like private network, right?
yes.
10.0.0.16.
That is only for the private purpose, but if you want to access the internet, you will have to have the public IP addresses, so it will automatically assign that public IP address for your machine. Now let's just quickly create one machine, then you will understand. So see here what I'm doing. Let's go inside the instance.
And in private IP address, we don't need internet connection.
No, we have not given, because I don't want that private resources should get internet access. See, the diagram, this is the public. Sorry, let's just take it as a private, and this one is public. Okay, So this public will have this internet access attached because of root table. Okay, so I have given the root like this as a. Okay, now this private is not having internet access, but it does not means that the both can't have the public IP addresses. See, because of our private network, they will get the private IP of this range, but automatically they will get the public IP address also. So this machine which has been created inside will have the public IP address also. With this we can go and access that. Public IP address is in auto assigned IP address, which has been assigned by AWS only, but the private IP address are in our control. Here the public IP address will not assigned. Even if it is assigned, there is no point, because even if the public IP address is assigned, but as this is not having an internet access, you won't be able to access the internet from this machine. I'll tell you how. See, if you go and create one machine, first let me create one machine and let me show you the problem first. Let me create Linux machine here, and I'm creating a machine in my the key pair is, let's go and select this only and edit. Under this I'm selecting my own VPC. So if I'll go and select my own VPC, I will get two subnet. One is public and the private. So I'm creating a public subnet. So see, it is showing that auto assigned IP address is disabled, public IP address. So as this is my public machine, I want to enable that. So I'll enable it, and I need to create one more security group, as security groups are VPC specific. So we need to create our own our own security group. So demo VPC, and leaving only SSH port, everything is default, launch instance. So we have launched instance. Okay, now if you go and click here, see the differences. There are a lot of differences are there. One is public IP address is been assigned, but see the private IP is from your range. 1 point. Second point, this machine is not having any DNS. See, if I'll go with this, okay, this, see, right now it is not having any DNS, but I want DNS also. My machine should have DNS, and every time it should not ask me to assign the public IP address, because here it was asking me every time. Here if I go and create the private Linux, for example, so under private Linux also it will give me the same options. It will give me the same option. So here if I'll go and select my VPC, automatically it will be disabled, but under default it is automatically enabling it. See, if I'll go here, again disable. So we need to make this enable first. So just go inside, and inside the subnet, just click here to the public subnet, under action, edit subnet setting. Under this, see, auto assign public setting I want to enable for public one. I want every time whenever I will create any resource under public, it has to have a public IP address assigned, and I want DNS also. Okay, so just save it. So if you again now go into the public subnet, like for example, where is the network? Yes, this is the network. Okay, so I have selected this. Under this, if I'll go to public one, automatically, okay, I need to refresh the page, then only it will take that. Launch instance, and I'm launching public machine only. Okay, and let's just select the Windows instance, and under that select the key pair, same, and under network section click edit. Under this, go and select your own VPC. See, okay, still it is not automatically selecting. Okay, this is a private, that's why public. Under public, see, automatically it is enabled. And if you go and select your own demo VPC, this one, and then save it, so it will automatically assign the DNS also to your machine. And here public machine, see, okay, it will give DNS in 1 or 2 minutes. Now let's just make one machine inside the private network. Okay, so let's try to create the private network machine. Let's just select this only, and let's just select this, and let me go and select my own private network. Under the private network, I don't want my machine to have a public IP address. Even let's just have a public IP address for my private machine, which is the not the good practice, but still for demo purpose I'm taking that launch instance. So okay, then leave it for now. Which one I have created? Okay, again I have given both of them as a Linux, so let me go and see that. Is this in which subnet? Private. Okay, so let me give Linux private. Okay, see, so this machine is having both IP address, so let me copy this public IP address and try to log in. See, I'm not able to log in into that. But if I go inside this Linux machine, as this is having an internet access, see, connection timeout is the error. Now let's see whether what it is giving for public machine. See, it is allowing me. So are you able to understand the difference? Even if I have given the public IP address to my machine, which is in the private subnet, but still it is, I don't know, there is something wrong with AWS. Where is the instances now? Okay, now they are here. See, even if my private subnets machine is having a public IP address, but still I am not able to connect it. Okay, but so always recommended to not to give the public IP address to these kind of machine, and that's more than enough. Private IP address is more than enough for that, and the machine which is having a public IP address and the private IP address, I am able to log in into that here, from here. Now the point is here, what I'm trying to explain is, if I have created one machine in the public subnet and I have created one machine in the private subnet, then how I can access that machine which is present in the private subnet? Like for example, here I have one Windows machine. Let me have, see, I have already created one Windows machine. Let me also create one window machine here in the private subnet. And see, from outside I am not able to get inside, but how I can go inside this machine? Because obviously internally I want to go inside that machine to perform some task. Like if we have a database installed in this machine, at least we should get access to in this machine. So how to get that? Just first delete these two machines, that's not important right now. Okay, and terminate. Okay, terminate. So we have this machine, public machine. Let's just go and connect it, RDP, and get password. So we need to upload the same key pair and decrypt. So yes, we have now IP address here. Let's just go to RDP inside. Copy. Let's just launch one more Windows machine also in the private subnet. What it is saying? Okay, it is saying that the remote desktop action is not there. I guess the security group is not having the port open. So security group, yes, this is the problem. Security group is having port number 22, which is wrong. I need to open RDP port. So edit our inbound and add rule for RDP here and go to this and then save. Now try to connect it. See, if you are, now we are getting this option. Again I have not saved the password, so just go here, connect RDP, same, get password, upload and upload that and decrypt. So just copy, and administrator is the username, so more choice, use different user here and copy this password and get inside. So it will allow you to get inside this Windows machine. Now let me launch one more instance, same Windows instance inside private. Why I am selecting Windows machine? Because it will give you the clear picture. So go and select a Windows instance, and under that quickly select the same key pair. This is my key pair. Now this time I am selecting the private subnet and I am not giving the IP address also, and select the same security group like this and quickly launch that. So see, this is my machine. Okay, we have logged in successfully inside this machine, and if you go and if you go to Internet Explorer, under this, if you go and type google.com, sorry, spelling is wrong, google.com, okay, still it's there. See, google.com, you are able to access internet also inside this machine. Now just go and see the machine which you have created for the private machine Windows. This is the private machine. Just copy. See, right now you don't have any public IP address. Even though if you will have it, it will not allow you to get inside. So you have only private machine. Just copy that and try to connect with the help of private machine. So upload the same. It will give you the password and all those things. See, now if I open RDP in my laptop, this is my laptop and I am trying to access from the private IP address. See, it will give error. Why I am not able to access? See, it will show error. 1 second. See, it will give error. Now why it is giving the error is the machine which is present under the subnet I am trying to access from outside. I am not allowed, but I want to access this machine also. So let's try to access it from inside this. Just go here into this machine and open RDP. RDP. Under this RDP, just copy the IP address and connect. see, it will prompt me to type the credentials. So just go and type the credential. So copy this. Yes. See, you are inside that machine. If you go and here, see. So this is the machine outside the public IP address machine, and inside this you are accessing this machine, this one.
That's what the mostly companies do, right?
Yes. Now what is the purpose of that? What exactly it is doing? So what we are doing here is, as they both are in the same network, so with the private IP address they both can communicate with each other. But if I was trying to access that from outside, I was not able to get inside. But from this, that as both the machine are in the same network, I am able to get inside this machine. So this is what we have done right here. And even if I'll try and access internet access into this machine, IP, see, it is not giving response. Why? Because it is not having internet gateway attached. So the machine which is helping me to get inside this machine is known as Bastion host or a jump host. Now this is very common question for interviewer or for exam also, that what is Bastion host and what is jump host. So here we have our VPC, we have a two subnet, this is public and this one is private. Okay, we have machines here, one machine here and the other machine here. So the machine which is helping me to access the private resources, private subnet resources, so this machine is known as Bastion host, Bastion host or the jump host. Okay, so simple definition or one line and answer is, if someone will ask you what is Bastion host or what is jump host, so you can directly tell the machine which will help me to access the resources which is present into the private subnet is known as Bastion host or the jump host. Understood? Here, see, it is not having an internet access also, can't reach this page. This is how we can go and access that. Any doubt till now? Now I guess you have understood all the error what you were, I guess there was so much confusion, but now most of the confusion will be clear.
Is it possible like that server, like the private machine can access the internet, but
Yes.
no one else can from the
Yes.
public can access? Okay.
Internet, right? Internet you're asking.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely that's the next step. See, obviously we are going to install our database into this machine, this one, right? So if we are
Yeah.
installing a database into that, so obviously database upgradation is required, patch updation is required, even though that's not accessible from outside, but the patch updation is required for that database. For example, if I have installed my SQL 5.0 version and there is some patch updation is came, so then how we will update that? So there is one more concept available that is known as NAT gateway, which help us to maintain these kind of thing, like my resources which
Okay.
are present in the private subnet can go and access the internet, but no one can from outside can go inside my network, private subnet resources, sorry.
In my job, I use the jump servers to access some. files, but I don't know. This is how they created, right?
Jump server, how you are creating that? I mean, it's like, is there any other cloud related or what it exactly it is?
So like I worked with the bank, so there was bank users which is installed in we use from our machine, we go to the jump server, and then we also do the remote desktop with any
Same.
one more server like this only. And in the private one we have all the bank users details, so we can use the password reset, something like that.
Yes, so recently what this is the same thing we
It's
have.
kind of database, I think. Yeah.
Yes, the same thing we have done. The outsider machine is jump machine, which is helping me to get inside. Then now the next step is I need to give the internet access to this machine so that it can update the patches, right? So that we will see tomorrow, because otherwise it will be like too much for today. But we will use the same network tomorrow. I'm just only deleting the machines so that it will not charge. But yeah, VPC is free, okay? But there is one thing which is
Okay.
not free. I'll tell you what it is. But before closing the day, I want to show you one very small concept which is very important. See, this is my machine which is having this public IP address. So if I'll go and take this public IP address for my machine, this is public IP of my machine. And we have a private IP of my machine, like this. Okay, now if I stop this machine, so my machine is stopped, it's in the stopping state. Okay, remote desktop is stopped. Okay, sorry, cancel just, and let me delete that also, the other machine terminating. So this is my machine which is now in the stop state.
Oh,
Okay, so here it's stopped. So if you go and refresh this page and click on public machine, see the IP address is gone and the private IP is still there. So this address is gone. Now if you go and start again, refresh it again, see, you will get again the IP address, this one. So now this time this IP address is changed. Earlier you were having that IP address, now it is changed. Now why it is happening? What does it mean? What do you understand? Means like, any guess?
Because we have limited public IP address, so the Amazon will change the public IP address, right?
Yes. If that machine in the stop state, what is the point of assigning a public IP address to that machine? It will go and they will release that IP so that the other one can use it. But once you will start your machine, you will get another IP address. So this is the concept. Like, it's not like you are not getting IP address, but you will get it. But when you will start that machine. But the problem is, the server which I have created, I have mapped this server to my website. So every time whenever the people are requesting to my website, like www.xyz.com, so how the network and the transaction work? See, we have this web server which is having my website, and this web server is having IP address like the same IP address, this IP address, and my website is www.xyz.com. So people from the internet, their browser, are accessing my website. When they request for www.xyz.com, this domain will move to this IP address because I have done mapping between these two, and once they will request, the domain is resolved into this IP address and this web server will respond them. So the problem is, every time if this IP address will keep fluctuating, so the first time they are getting response, but because of some reason this machine got crashed and this machine got restarted, because of that this IP address got changed, so definitely they are not able to get the response. Again I need to do this connection. So to avoid this kind of problem, every time changing IP address, again going and mapping with the website, it's not the best way. So to avoid that, we have one more concept, that's like instead of this dynamic IP, we can buy a static IP address. Right? In general term, if I will say, that's the static IP address which will not change. That static is fixed for you. You are purchasing that IP address for a longer term. So we have a concept inside this AWS that is known as elastic IP. So elastic IP is nothing but it's a static IP address which not change even though if you will stop your machine. So if you allocate the elastic IP, just click the and allocate that. You can create 5 elastic IP address per region. Same way the VPC. And if you create one IP address and you need to associate that IP address with your machine, so just click on associate IP address and choose your instance. So my instance is this one, this is the running instance, so associate it. So if you go here and if you refresh this page again and click here, so now the IP address has been changed. This is the 18 IP address, 18th one. Okay, so this is my elastic IP address, 18200 is my elastic IP address. So it's good if I'll go and stop my machine now. See, even if it is stopped, this IP will be still there.
We have to pay extra charges for
Yes,
Elastic,
yes,
or
yes,
there is some limit?
yes,
Okay.
definitely. I'll tell you. See, it stopped, still that IP address is there. Even again, if I'll start, so now the question may come, if we have this option available, so why can't we every time use this option? Why we are using the default IP address option? So the problem is elastic IP addresses are chargeable when they are not associated with any of the machine. Like for example, I have associated this IP address with my machine and this machine is in the running state, so I'm not charging, like Amazon will not charge me anything. But if I'll stop that machine, or if I have not attached this IP address with any of the machine, Amazon will start charging me. Why? Because they are telling unnecessary, you are blocking one IP address and you are also not using it. So they directly say that no, we will charge you. Either you go and use it, or either uh, remove it from your account. So if I'll stop this machine, for example, if I'll terminate, let's just terminate that machine. So if I'm terminating that machine and if I'll go to elastic IP address, right now it is associated with this. Okay, elastic IP address is associated with this instance, so we are not charging, but still just go and wait for 1 or 2 minutes until that machine is terminated. Okay, so it's terminated, so just go inside this and refresh it. So here no IP address is associated. So if you think that if you have deleted the instance, this IP address will also be deleted, no, as this is allocated to your account, still now your billing will start. AWS will start charging you. So always recommended, when you are not using elastic IP address, then just go inside and release that IP address. So once you release that, okay, it is showing that still it is in the use, it will take 1 or 2 minutes.
Even in the stop state, they will charge us.
Yes, mostly, but not
Okay.
that much, but they will charge you. It will take some time to
And
go.
if we are using if we are using, then they will not charge us, right?
Yes, no. If that machine and everything are up, it will not
Using
charge
this
you.
IP.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So this is one concept. So now VPC is the free of cost. Just like IAM, VPC is the free service. But there is one component which is chargeable, and that component is NAT gateway. So if you are using a NAT gateway, that is chargeable. Why it is chargeable? Because that have one mandatory thing, that is NAT gateway is required elastic IP address. So that concept we will see tomorrow. Rest all the things under VPC is free. It is taking time, but I don't know. I'll see. Still, it is not removed, but it will remove after 5-10 minutes. So I want to show you one more thing. Then we'll close. See, under this VPC, not this one. See, under pricing section, you will see only three options they have: NAT gateway, IEPAM, network analyzer. So these are the chargeable thing, but these two are not that important, but NAT gateway is important because they will ask you that is VPC is free. So you can directly tell that yes, VPC is free, but if you are using NAT gateway, it's not free. Then they will ask you why NAT gateway is not free, because it is using one mandatory component, that is a elastic IP address, and elastic IP address is chargeable. Simple as that. Okay. So yes, any other doubt? Okay. Ashwati, do you have any doubt?
No.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel.